Welcome to this channel where we give you raw facts about women, sex, and sexuality. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified when we upload a new video. You've noticed she used to initiate. She used to kiss you like she meant it. Now, it's been weeks, maybe even months. You try to touch her, but she turns away. You suggest date night, but she says she's tired. And in the back of your mind, one question keeps eating at you: what happened? Here's the truth. When a woman stops being intimate, most men panic. And in that panic, they make mistakes. Mistakes that don't just fail to fix the problem. They make it worse. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 of those mistakes, why they push her further away, and what you can do instead to turn things around. This is not about manipulation. This is about understanding her psychology, rebuilding connection, and getting back to a place where intimacy flows naturally again. Let's be real. Sex isn't the only part of a relationship, but it's not just a bonus either. Physical intimacy is a reflection of emotional connection. When it's missing, you both feel it. She might feel unseen, unappreciated, or stressed. You might feel rejected, unwanted, or even betrayed. And here's where it gets tricky. Most men react in ways that feel logical to them. But to a woman's mind, those same actions scream pressure, distance, or emotional immaturity. That's why we're starting with the 7 biggest mistakes you must avoid. Mistake number 1 is the one almost every guy makes without realizing it, and it kills attraction instantly. 1. Begging or pleading for sex. When you feel unwanted, it's natural to try and fix it by asking for sex more often. Sometimes directly, "Why don't we do it anymore?" And sometimes indirectly through constant touching or hinting. But here's the hard truth. The more you beg or plead for intimacy, the more you trigger her resistance. Why? Because attraction thrives on freedom, not obligation. In her mind, sex should be something she wants to give, not something she's pressured into. Begging makes her feel cornered, and instead of inspiring desire, it builds resentment. Remember, women are far more likely to shut down physically if they feel emotionally suffocated. Think about it like this: if every time you saw a friend, they immediately asked you for money, you'd start dreading seeing them. Even if you like them, the interaction starts feeling transactional. It's the same with intimacy. If every physical touch feels like it's leading to sex, she starts associating your affection with pressure, not love. What to do instead? Pull back on the pressure. Stop making every touch a sexual advance. Instead, rebuild non-sexual affection. Hold her hand, kiss her without expecting it to lead anywhere, make her laugh. This signals safety. And safety, in a woman's world, is the soil where desire grows. 2. Withdrawing affection as punishment. When a woman starts pulling away sexually, some men react by pulling away emotionally. They stop hugging her, stop kissing her, and maybe even stop talking to her, not because they've lost interest, but because they want her to feel the absence. It's a silent punishment, an unspoken way of saying, if you're not giving me sex, I'm not giving you attention. Here's the problem. In her mind, this only confirms the fear that you only valued her for sex. Instead of making her miss intimacy, it makes her feel emotionally unsafe. And when a woman doesn't feel safe, her body naturally shuts down desire even more. Women tend to link emotional connection and physical intimacy more tightly than men. When you withdraw affection, she feels emotionally abandoned, and once that emotional wall goes up, it's almost impossible for her to be physically open to you. Imagine she's been stressed at work, feeling exhausted, and sex hasn't been on her mind. Instead of showing her that you're still there for her, you go cold. To you, it's a wake-up call. To her, it's proof that when she's at her lowest, you'll turn away. What to do instead? Keep affection alive, not as a way to manipulate her into bed, but as a way to maintain connection. Hug her in the kitchen. Kiss her forehead. Sit close while watching TV. This says, I still love you, even when we're not being physical. That stability is what eventually reopens the door to intimacy. 3. Assuming she's just being difficult. Some men skip straight to frustration and start thinking, she's just playing games, she's trying to punish me. But assuming her lack of intimacy is just stubbornness is a dangerous move. Why? Because it shuts down curiosity and empathy, the 2 things you need most right now. There are many reasons women pull back sexually. Stress, hormonal changes, body image issues, emotional disconnection, or even past trauma. If you immediately label her as difficult, you're sending the message that you care more about getting what you want than understanding what she's going through. Let's say she's been avoiding intimacy for weeks. You could jump to the conclusion that she's withholding out of spite. Or, you could ask open, non-accusatory questions like, "Is something on your mind lately?" Or, "I've noticed we haven't been close physically. Is there anything you need from me?" One approach builds trust, the other builds resentment. What to do instead? Replace assumption with investigation, but gentle investigation. Your goal isn't to interrogate, it's to invite her into a conversation where she feels safe being honest. When she feels heard and understood, her defenses start to drop. For trying to buy intimacy. This one's sneaky because it often comes from a good place. You miss her, you want to make her happy, so you start buying gifts, doing extra chores, taking her out, hoping she'll respond with more intimacy. But here's the thing, if those gestures are driven by the expectation of sex, she'll feel it, and it will backfire. When kindness comes with strings attached, it stops feeling like love and starts feeling like a transaction. Women are incredibly perceptive to the energy behind your actions. If it's fueled by genuine care, it draws her closer. If it's fueled by a hidden "now you owe me" mindset, it pushes her away. You clean the entire house, make her favorite dinner, and spend the evening being extra sweet. She says thank you, gives you a hug, but doesn't initiate sex. Instead of feeling appreciated, you feel frustrated. She senses that frustration, and suddenly all your earlier kindness feels tainted. What to do instead? Give without keeping score. If you want to do something nice for her, do it because you care, not because you expect intimacy as a reward. Paradoxically, when a woman feels loved with no pressure, her natural desire often returns faster. 5. Ignoring emotional connection. This might be the biggest blind spot for most men. When sex disappears, a lot of guys focus on the physical problem, but for many women, intimacy starts long before the bedroom. If she's feeling disconnected from you emotionally, her body is far less likely to want to connect physically. Think about it, if she feels unheard, unappreciated, or invisible, she's not going to crave closeness. You might still want sex because, for men, physical intimacy can create emotional closeness. But for many women, it's the other way around. Emotional closeness comes first. In a woman's mind, trust, safety, and being emotionally understood are the foundation of sexual attraction. When those things are missing, sex can feel like a chore instead of a joy. And no amount of persuasion will override that. You've been busy with work, stressed, and maybe a little distant. She's been hinting that she misses spending time together. You figure, we live together. Of course we're spending time together. But in her mind, time in the same room isn't the same as connection. So the gap grows, and so does the dry spell. What to do instead? Focus on rebuilding connection outside the bedroom. Have conversations without distractions. Laugh together. Ask about her day and actually listen. When she starts feeling emotionally safe and seen, her body becomes more open to intimacy naturally, without you having to beg for it. 6. Comparing her to other women. This is one of the fastest ways to shut down any lingering desire she might have. Whether you do it directly, other women would love to, or indirectly by constantly noticing other women, comparisons feel like a deep betrayal to her. And here's the thing, it rarely inspires her to compete for your attention. More often, it makes her check out completely. When you compare her to other women, even jokingly, you're telling her she's not enough. And when a woman feels like she's competing just to keep your interest, sex becomes less about connection and more about insecurity, which is a turnoff for both of you. Instead of making her want to win you back, comparisons often make her withdraw because no one feels safe opening up to someone who's already looking elsewhere. You mention how attractive a coworker is, thinking it's harmless. But to her, it's a reminder that your eyes, and possibly your heart, are somewhere else. That emotional crack widens, and intimacy slips even further out of reach. What to do instead? Focus on what you appreciate about her, and tell her. Not just her looks, but her personality, her humor, her kindness. When she feels secure in your attraction to her, she's more likely to want to be intimate. 7. Letting resentment build without talking. This is the silent killer of intimacy. You notice she's not initiating. You start feeling unwanted. You stop trying. Weeks turn into months, and now you're carrying quiet resentment that's poisoning every interaction, even if you're not saying it out loud. Here's the danger: unspoken resentment changes your tone, your body language, and your energy. She feels it, even if you never mention it. That tension makes her even less likely to want intimacy, and the cycle deepens. Humans can sense unspoken emotions. For women especially, who tend to be more attuned to emotional shifts, your quiet frustration feels like emotional hostility. And no one wants to be intimate with someone they feel emotionally unsafe with. You've been keeping score in your head: how long it's been since you had sex, how many times you've been rejected. Instead of talking about it calmly, you carry it like a weight. She feels your distance, assumes you're angry, and now both of you are retreating instead of coming together. What to do instead? Have an honest, calm conversation before resentment hardens. Use I statements: "I've been missing our closeness lately," instead of blame. The goal isn't to guilt her into sex, it's to create a space where you can work together to rebuild connection. So let's recap. When she's not giving you sex, the worst thing you can do is react out of panic, ego, or frustration. Begging, withdrawing affection, assuming she's being difficult, trying to buy intimacy, ignoring the emotional connection, comparing her to others, or silently holding resentment. All of these create more distance, not closeness. But here's the good news: intimacy droughts happen in even the best relationships. They don't have to mean the end. What matters most is how you respond. And if you respond with patience, empathy, and a focus on rebuilding emotional safety, the physical closeness often follows. Instead of asking, "How do I get her to have sex with me again?" ask, "How do I make her feel loved, safe, and desired again?" Because for many women, desire isn't a switch you can flip, it's a fire you have to nurture. And that fire burns brighter when she feels emotionally connected, respected, and appreciated. Here's what you can start doing right now. Keep non-sexual affection alive. Spend quality time without distractions. Listen more than you talk. Show appreciation without expecting anything in return. Address problems early, before resentment builds. These aren't quick fixes, they're relationship habits. And over time, they shift the energy between you from tense and distant to warm and magnetic. If you're in a dry spell right now, I know it can feel lonely, frustrating, and even embarrassing. But remember, this is not a test of your worth as a man. It's an opportunity to grow in patience, communication, and emotional leadership. And when you get those things right, you're not just solving the sex problem. You're making your relationship stronger than it's ever been. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these mistakes have you seen in your own relationships, and what's helped you rebuild intimacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I read every single one. And if you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this.